Manuscript rejection. Most authors face this unpleasant aspect of the publication process at least once in their academic career. But this fact doesn't make the process any easier to deal with, does it? My name is Yukti, and today I will talk to you about some ways that you can cope with manuscript rejection. Many authors come to us completely frustrated when their manuscript has been rejected by one or more journals. They just want to give up the publication process completely. But please don't lose heart. There are some ways you can deal with this process well and turn it into a positive for your current paper and for your career in the long run. The first thing you need to look at is if your manuscript received any peer review comments from the journal. I often tell authors that peer review comments are worth their weight in gold. Please read through and analyze these comments well because they provide a useful external perspective on your research and how it fits into the field of study. Try to incorporate as many comments as possible into the manuscript and even go back and do some additional experiments if you have been so advised. I know that reviewer comments can be very critical sometimes, and you may even disagree with one or more comments, but just focus on the improvements that you can make in your manuscript based on these comments. The second thing you need to think about is the reason provided by the journal for rejection. Sometimes the journal will tell you that the manuscript is out of scope. In such cases, go back to the journal's aims and scope and try to figure out what the journal really meant by this. Try to understand where the mismatch between your manuscript and the journal aims and scope lies. This experience will be useful when selecting the next journal and when reading through the aims and scope of the next journal that you decide to submit to. Another common reason for rejection that I have seen is an insufficient priority for publication. This probably means that the level of your research or the novelty of the research doesn't match up to the journal's level at this point in time. Try submitting to a lower impact factor journal in the same field or look for an allied subject area that you can submit your manuscript to. Last but not the least, make sure that the manuscript has been presented well. This means that all your ideas in the manuscript should flow in a coherent order and in a logical fashion. There should be no grammar or language errors in the paper, and the paper should be formatted correctly according to the guidelines of the journal. A useful way to ensure this is to ask an experienced colleague or a native speaker of English to read through your manuscript. I know that rejection can be a really daunting process to deal with, but if you persist in your honest efforts and your research follows the guidelines of good publication practice, I am sure that you will taste success eventually. So don't lose heart and keep trying.